where's the line? I think is what we're going to kind of try to talk about today.
Yeah.
Is it where the line is between actual vanity and, either being responsible or wielding a weapon for good?
Welcome to Work Hard. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Jason.
Now this is podcasting.
Hello. We're back. Back at it again. And for you guys, it's been a week. For me and Jason, it's been 10 minutes. And
It was a rough 10 minutes for Ethan.
Brother, let me tell you what. I'm getting worse by the minute. Literally by the minute. The Lord, I think in our last episode, the Lord reached down in me and said, you can have a little energy to finish this out. But he just also extracted that energy from me when the camera turned off. There's a stairwell. Jason and I are upstairs in my parents' house. There's a stairwell. Went down the stairwell, hit the bottom stairs, and went, oh boy. We are in trouble. And my wife is gone.
Oh, she is?
Yep. She's out of town today.
Oh, no.
So.
You got the kid.
Bro. Brutal day ahead of me. But this is what we signed up for, baby. This is what we live for. This is what fatherhood, this is what headship of a household is about. It's in those moments when the children and the women around you are, this is how you shield them from the darkness and brutality of the world. For the most part. It's going to get them either way, but because you're not perfect. But you do things that seem impossible at the time so that your wife can go try on dresses with her sister. Because you're a man, and that's what men do. All right.
What I had to do yesterday. I was off at a coffee shop doing some other work, and my wife was going to go and do shopping. Friday is shopping day.
Okay.
And I get a call, and she goes, how's your work going?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She's like, have you completed a significant amount?
Oh, no.
And I was like, I've still got a good bit left to go. She's like, it's not going well here. This is like 1:30.
Yeah.
Approaching 2 o'clock. And she's like, we haven't got lunch yet. I just spent 45 minutes doing X.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So
yeah.
I came home. Packed up, came home. It's like, that'll have to wait for another day.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had, I've opened every episode with this for the past 3 episodes now, but whatever, it's part of my life. We're doing my daughter's sleeping stuff. She will not, she's also going through this thing where I'm going to have to talk to the pastor, talk to you, somebody, I don't know, because she's full on just stop listening to my wife. She'll listen to me. Like, she'll stop on a dime if I tell her to do something.
Yeah.
And like last night, I just told my wife, so I've been a week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been losing about an hour to 2 hours a night of sleep, getting my daughter in bed.
Yeah.
Because I have to sit next to the bed and, Abigail, lay your head down.
Yeah, we can talk. We have some bad sleepers.
Okay. And so last night I just told my wife, you're just gonna have to rock her to sleep. I can't. If you can't get her to lay down and stay down tonight, you're gonna have to rock her to sleep. I physically cannot do this.
Yeah.
And
Got to get some rest.
Yeah, I will just fall asleep sitting there, and then she's just off to the do whatever she wants. I'm asleep, which is that's damaging. Like that's worse, right? She's gonna go, aha, I can trick him. Like I can get him asleep and trick him and whatever. Like he can give up. Like that is possible. And so I set my daughter down. I was gonna just go sit and chill for a little bit and then go to sleep. And I set my daughter down and I said, you need to listen and obey and respect your mother. Do you understand? And she said, and I said, you will respect and obey your mother. And she said, no, I won't.
Oh.
And I said, what? Yes, you will. And she went, no. And I went, you will respect and obey your mother or you will deal with me.
Yeah.
What would you prefer to do? And she said, respect and obey mommy. And I said, that's what I thought. Now please go into the playroom and read books. It's time to go to sleep. So you are the backstop to your family, okay? You are.
Yeah, the children, this is why single mother households don't work.
Yeah.
Because your daughter's not even 3 yet, right?
No.
Any strong-willed child, unless you have a pushover child, is going to rebel against your wife.
Oh, yeah.
And so young men, you've got to be ready for that. You're
it, man. You're it.
You have to make them respect your wife.
Yeah.
You have to enforce that. Say, look, if you're not going to listen to her, you deal with me.
Yeah.
You have to treat her and respect her the same as you respect me. Yeah, when my wife says, like, look, I can't even, I'm at work or something, and she'll tell the kids, look, Daddy's going to spank you when he gets home because I have done almost nothing else today because you've been so badly behaved.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
No. It's so much
Please
harder.
not.
Yeah.
Please no.
It actually hurts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a very big difference between, and I've tried
and
to
without
describe
that, then
my
you're
life.
going to have what? You're going to have anarchy in your home.
Yeah. Then what?
Without you backing up your wife?
Yeah, and it's
and
not,
this whole soft parenting thing of like, well, you just have to reason with them. They're not reasonable.
Yeah,
you
have
cannot
to-
reason
you have
with
to
a 2-year-old.
teach. You have to discipline and coach reason into a human being.
Yeah.
Reason is not a default state.
As their brain develops, too,
Right.
I might add. They
Yes.
just aren't capable of even following an argument. They will just revert back to, I want.
I want.
Yeah, but that's not what I want. Yes, I know. And you'll spend your time infinitely going in a loop.
Boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's-
eventually
you can
it just has to land at you have to obey.
Yeah.
And that's where
don't care.
That's
I don't
where
care what you
that
want.
because I said so comes into play, or that's why that has become such a, like, I know people go, well, my parents just said, I had to obey because they said so.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you do. And I think parents should do their best to explain at the proper time. You do need to explain why they have to obey. And
Yeah.
you've even talked about this. You explain it to your daughter at an age-appropriate level. My authority, the reason you obey me is because God put me in authority over you, and I have to obey God, and God told me to raise you to be a moral Christian
Right.
person. And if you don't obey me, then you're not obeying God. Unless I'm disobeying God. That's the only time you can disobey me is when I'm doing something that
Yeah,
God
but
has
I
not told me
don't
to.
even introduce that idea to them at this point. That's like
Well, you could be like, you can go to the scriptures.
yeah.
When you're able to read the scriptures and tell me that I'm in sin,
Then you get to decide.
then
Yeah,
you get to decide.
yeah.
Well, and they will try that. They'll be like, well, you said earlier that, and so sometimes they will catch you if you're not careful. That's another thing to be very careful about is when you tell them that, what I just said,
Yeah.
they will eventually go, well, you guys do thus and such. And sometimes there is an exception, like, well, no, we are the parents, and so therefore we don't have to abide by the 1 scoop of ice cream rule
Right.
that you are assigned.
Right. If I were to just I have the ability to limit my ice cream intake.
Right.
If you had
will
infinite
eat it till
access
you
to
are
that-
sick.
Yeah, you would throw
You will be
up.
diabetic
Yeah.
in 6 months if
Yeah.
I gave you all the ice cream you want,
Yeah.
because you have no restraint.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. You are the backstop, dude. And I've been the backstop. I've been big backstopping for 2 weeks.
It's rough.
And it's literally made me
It's
sick.
really rough on your poor wife, too.
Oh, dude, I
It's
know.
so hard not being listened to. I can imagine.
I can't imagine. Well, because I mean, the big problem that it's come up to is that she'll run away in the grocery store, and
so it's like straight up dangerous.
Emily can't get her to come back.
Your pregnant wife can't chase her down.
My pregnant wife gets
has
stuck,
to run
embarrassed, yelling.
In
My wife
Walmart.
does not do well with people looking at her. Like, I don't care. Like that, that situation, I'll go through. If she runs through the aisle over and I'm concerned, I'll go through the wall. Like, I'll just knock the whole thing down. Yeah, and just catch her. Like, I don't care at all. I'll be like, sorry, made a mess. You guys have to clean that. I'll help, I guess. I don't care.
Yeah.
But Emily's like, oh, people are looking at me. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're the backstop, gentlemen, and you have to pray a lot, dude.
Because it's really easy to get heated too,
and
it's
brother,
infuriating as a man not to have your wife respected by anybody, let alone the child she gave birth to.
yeah, man. Yeah,
It's like when your own blood is rebelling against your soulmate.
yes, yeah.
Like the words that come to mind are "How dare you?"
Yeah, the words
which you should not say.
No, of course not.
Most of the time.
Yeah, you should repent if you're thinking that.
I've said that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
I
haven't yet.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But I'm still only managing one kid. I can imagine that it'll be intensely more stressful when it's multiple.
As they get closer to teen years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is, dude. I was begging, literally begging. I was sitting in my daughter's room on the floor. My back was like twitching because it was so cramped up from being bent over uncomfortably. I got to get a chair in there or something. It's too late now. She's already starting to put herself to sleep, so it's so over. But she was wiggling and stuff, and I was so tired that really all I could summon the strength to do was just put my hand on her.
Yeah.
And just lay it there to just like try to physically remind her to be still.
Yeah.
And it was working pretty well.
The physical touch does help.
Yeah, a lot. And it was a reassuring touch. It was not a like, get down. It was like,
holding her down while she thrashed.
It was like, you can do this. This is okay. I believe in you. God believes in you. We all know you can do this. But I was just praying, and I was saying, Lord, I'm literally begging you. I'm begging you, please. I just need your peace and your strength here. I cannot do this. I can't. And I got done with that prayer, and I was good to go. Yeah. I prayed for probably 3 or 4 minutes, just said that over and over and over and over and over and over again.
The rotary prayer?
Yes. Yeah.
Please, God, please help me.
Yes. And it got... and
please give me prayer, or please give me peace.
Yeah. And I lifted my head up, and we were good to go, and I got her down, and so it was good. But, yeah. So, gentlemen.
Look, if you find this content helpful, we would deeply appreciate if you hit that like button right now, and if you would hit the subscribe button as well. Look, we can't get monetized until we get a certain number of subscribers, so this is completely practical.
Yeah, this is practical. This actually will end. All right, work hard, hyper premium. It will come to a stop. I will run out of money, and Jason will have to go back to work, and I'll have to go back to work, and this will end.
Yeah, so you can support us non-monetarily just by sharing it and subscribing.
Yeah.
On YouTube and Rumble, particularly.
Yeah.
Substack, put your email in there if you want any access to. I'm sure our Substack people will get, because that's where our email list is.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones getting, you guys will be the ones getting, like any promotionals, any merch on down the road that, or, special offers would go to our Substack listeners because they're the ones that have submitted their email to us.
Speaking of merch. There may or may not be a first run Work Hard t-shirt.
Oh, cool.
That exists currently.
No kidding.
That is in the mail. There's one of them in the mail for me for my birthday that I didn't know about, except my wife accidentally told me about it.
Very nice.
So if that looks good, and I haven't seen it yet. She designed it. She did the whole thing.
Cool.
She thought about getting you one, but apparently they're expensive, so
okay.
You didn't get one. Sorry. Whatever your birthday is.
A one-off?
Yeah, it's a one-off.
I imagine that's pricey.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. But if it's good, we'll probably might as well make them. So
yeah.
So guys, yes, it is extremely helpful.
Substack,
and this
Submit
is not
Substack Hyper Premium.
Work Hard, the podcasts. This is not the
end all.
The end all of our vision here. Okay, we are
the very beginning. We
are on a mission to help push culture, get culture moving again. All right, we are on a mission to create entertainment that you can not. I think the first thing we're going to make is something hopefully we aim that everyone can just sit down and watch. You can watch as a family with your kids. Probably won't think it's funny because it's going to be a little over their head, but you can at least watch it while they're in the room and not have to worry about it. I think there are going to be things that Hyper Premium puts out that are probably not for kids to watch as well.
Some will be more narrow audiences.
Yeah,
sure.
some of it will be a little bit grittier or whatever, but
some we've talked about projects, and hopefully we'll be starting on those this year once I go full time. For those of you who don't know, I'm going full time, working for Hyper Premium, beginning of July this year.
yeah,
That's coming up fast,
yeah,
and so I'll be starting work on some kinds of possible.
yeah, we're talking shows and movies for kids, shows and movies for adults, shows and movies for the whole family. We're on a mission.
Yeah.
All right,
Help us get off the ground, please.
Yeah, if anything that can give us some feedback that this is going well, even
Yeah.
then that's very much appreciated. So, all right, should we? I didn't come up with a recommendation.
I know. I realized that after like about 2 minutes into recording, I realized. But remember, I had I think you wanted to recommend that one.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, yeah, sick. Yeah. All right, couch cushions, ladies and gentlemen. This is the segment of the show where we give you a media recommendation in lieu of the fact that we can't recommend the stuff we're making because it's not here yet. But
It's coming.
it's coming. So mine is this is targeted towards a lot of young guys listen to this. So this is stuff that you guys might have missed because it came out just before you were old enough to watch it or care about it or whatever, or maybe it was out before you were born. But I don't know that this one falls into that category. You guys will have to make that decision by yourselves. But it's The Emperor's New Groove. Dude, that art style for one is one of my favorites.
That's pretty good.
That Western animation kind of, I really love that art style.
Okay. Maybe we'll have a project in that style.
That's what I want Book of Wrath to look like.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And or the like Book of Wrath, I want to be in that art style, or like Treasure Planet, or whatever. It's off topic. We got to hustle bustle. The Emperor's New Groove, very funny, phenomenal characters, great characters. Kronk, all time mimetic character.
Yes.
So good.
Played by the fantastic Patrick Warburton.
Yep.
Who also voiced a character in a previous recommendation, Hoodwinked. He voices the wolf in Hoodwinked.
Yep. That guy.
You still haven't seen that, have you?
Nope. But it's dude. That guy's awesome.
Don't be deterred by the terrible animation in it. It's pretty funny.
Who's the voice for the Emperor?
David Spade.
That is David Spade?
Yeah.
Fantastic, dude. David Spade's got to be one of the funniest people to have ever lived. David Spade is so good. The other lever, Kronk. So funny. Oh, right. The dragon. Is the oh no, the dragon's in
Mulan?
Yeah, the dragon's in Mulan. Jeez Louise. Yeah. Emperor's New Groove. That's my recommendation. You guys get it. Look it up. It's fine.
Okay,
There we go.
cool. My recommendation is the 2003 film Open Range. Have you seen Open Range?
No.
Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall.
That sounds super familiar.
It's a Western, and it follows those two actors play two cattlemen, I guess. I don't know what the term would be, but this is back in the days when there wasn't a lot of civilization yet, so it's back in frontier days, and they would drive cattle back and forth, and so free grazing was a thing. I guess you get to kind of graze wherever you are going, so
Yeah.
I don't know the history behind it. It kind of seems from what I gathered in the movie that you can kind of graze wherever, even if it's on other people's land, because it's so wide and expansive, and you have to drive cattle back and forth, enormous amounts.
Yeah.
So these are two rough, tough guys, and they have a young guy and they have two other guys who work for them,
Okay.
driving these cattle and whatnot. And they come to this small town that basically is run, by a guy like an old Irishman who came and built up a whole lot of land. So he's very wealthy, and he's got the sheriff in his clutches basically. And he kind of tries to run them off, and he roughs up their men while they're in town.
Don't ruin this one.
Okay. I'm not going to go too much into it, but man, some of the speeches in this movie
Yeah.
by like the two main characters, there's a love interest for one of them who's like this just lovely doctor's sister, like very proper, elegant. You'd like her.
Yep.
So, and the gun battle at the end is so good.
Now, how does that gun battle end?
Bloodily, if that's a word.
Nice.
All right, there I did it.
You did it.
I didn't blow the whole movie.
Didn't blow the whole movie. We're
Yeah.
good to go. Oh boy. All right.
Open range. Check
Open
it out.
range. Guys, this topic for today, I would imagine a lot of our listeners are going to disagree with my stance and take Jason's side on this, which is fine. I'm used to being in that chair. I'm okay with it. But how would you made a pretty good summary of what earlier, so why don't you?
Oh, the summary?
Yeah.
I think this is just going to be kind of an open discussion format between the two of us, talking about the rights and wrongs, where you should draw the line between proper self-care and, cosmetics, and where the right and wrong is.
Right.
Big gray area. We'll just say that outright. I think
Yeah.
there's a big gray area here.
Yeah.
So this is going to kind of encompass, let me find my note here. Where did it go? Okay, where is the line between taking care of yourself and vanity? And I think maybe in large part that's going to be where your heart is in it. So maybe so just take that. That's my disclaimer, I suppose, going into this discussion is the most important part of it is where your heart is. Are you doing this for vanity's sake, because you want to be seen well by others, or are you doing it because you see it as more of a sociological duty? You're just kind of keeping up with yourself. You're not being, you're taking showers so that you don't stink when you're out and about with other people, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's also a third one that people, and the one I'll say is dangerous. You're kind of playing with fire with this one, so you got to be very careful, because this can very quickly become an excuse. And it's one actually I got from Doug Wilson, which is that, Christ was dressed in so well that after he was killed, the guards
divided his clothing
up and like I think they drew straws for it or whatever.
Cast lots,
whatever it is.
Drawing straws. That's
whatever.
It's a random method of determining who gets something. Flipping a coin.
Yeah, they flipped a coin for it. And so there's a reason.
Rock, paper, scissors.
There's a reason that pastors ought to be dressed in suits at the pulpit, and it's the same reason why I really, really despise one of the. I'm sick, so it's hard for me to stay on. It's not rabbit hole here. I really don't like one of the things I don't like about modern evangelical churches is their the pastors wearing hats and etnies on stage and stuff like that, and chains. They dress like me, on stage.
On stage.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious. And I think that this is there's, especially with young men, I think that there's a really powerful sort of messaging tool that can go, a young man sees an older guy, maybe not even necessarily older, like another young guy, like a 20-year-old sees a 35-year-old, and it's like, man, he's got style, he's got a beautiful family, beautiful wife, drives a sick truck, house is awesome, whatever. I want that guy's life.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you go, how did he get it? If that man is rightly ordered, his answer will be my duty to my mission that is imbued upon me by the Lord. It's all God. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what, and so that young man will then say, well, then I got to get into a church.
Yeah. As opposed to the other answer, which is, I did steps A, B, and C, and I'm the best.
Hot shot, baby.
Yeah.
I sold so
You
many
just got to
cars.
get it.
Yeah, you just got to wake up and grind. It's about discipline. It's about you doing stuff.
Yeah.
Taking credit for it, that kind of thing. And so I am, we've established this. I'm a little flowery, a bit of an artist, all right? I like to live in a juxtaposition, a bit of a jock as well, but I'm really...
You can't pin me down.
Can't pin me down, dude.
The ultimate hipster.
Yes, I
have a tendency to a
apex
bit as well.
hipster.
I would reject things simply because they were popular.
Right. Yeah. Or they weren't like they didn't clash enough. Like in college, I only dated like.
I don't think that wasn't my thing.
Oh,
it was more just like, well, if too many people told me that something was great, then I would automatically push back on it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because the thing was bad.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I fell into other fads easily enough, like Pokemon. I wasn't at all
immune to that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, but there were some things.
But I like in college, I would get like euphoric when I would like bring girls to the frat house.
Right. Because they were the
like,
emo girls.
Yeah. They were like nose rings and like beads and stuff.
Yeah.
And other girls would be like, ugh. And like the guys would be like, dude,
what are you doing?
They wouldn't necessarily be like, what are you doing? They thought it was funny. They think it was entertaining, but they'd just be like, this is just not fit. And people would make comments. I'm at some non-fraternity thing. I'm at her friend's party.
Yeah.
In some apartment with a low ceiling and no lights. There's weed smoke everywhere. And I'm wearing a polo hat and like my fraternity letters with New Balances on and like knee-high socks. People are like,
what's he doing here?
How did you even know this was happening? We're back. All right. Just had to cut something out. I'm not having. I went a little too. See, I told you we're playing with fire here today.
Yeah, you got to be careful later when we get into some of the some of the topics.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to weave maybe I'm too sick for this one, but whatever. It's recording. We'll just cut it out. So I am the point that I'm making here is that I am susceptible to to that idea of image being a very powerful tool.
Okay.
In either direction. So I think that's the third thing here. Is it vanity? Is it duty? Or are you using your image as a weapon?
I would just view that. I would lump that in with vanity, because you're doing it for outward appearance.
Okay, so you're using vanity positively or negatively. Well, I'm saying image can be used as a weapon for good. Is what I'm saying. You have a positive image. You're good.
The third one being that you have a good image in order to influence for good.
Right. Exactly. You don't want to show up.
It's not for you and your. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
you don't want to show up at some social event. Being a Christian, being like, I'm a Christian. My thing is that I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And I look like crap, and I'm revolting in some way. If you show up and you're
disheveled and reeked.
Yeah, if you're disheveled and wreathed or whatever. Right. So if you have a positive image, if you're focused on that kind of stuff, if you're focused on not focused on it, but if it's part of what I care about that stuff a lot, I like think about clothes.
Okay.
And like I'm particular about style and what I think looks good. And a part of that's just because I am like an artsy queer. And so I just like is it like, aesthetically, like, is the thing,
does it work,
line up? Yeah. Or whatever. And so I'm predisposed to that, but I do also think that it
has a legitimate place.
Image does. But It's like a gun. It's like a gun.
Yeah. You can turn it on the wrong person or on yourself.
Yeah. And so again, you're playing with fire. You have to be very disciplined about that. So I'm not saying that that's some sort of apex, like that. It's a kill shot. It makes it totally reasonable to go buy a gold chain and swag out on everybody all the time. Unlimited swag out, ultimate swag out. You can't do that, right? That's not what I'm saying. All right. But it's like a gun. So it has
minimum 25 pieces of flare.
Yes. Yeah. Minimum. And so you have to be very responsible if you're going to carry a gun around. Okay. So that's just that I would say, but yes. So to focus back on the main point here, when do these things move from, where's the line? I think is what we're going to kind of try to talk about today.
Yeah.
Is it where the line is between actual vanity and, either being responsible or wielding a weapon for good. So,
let's start with makeup.
Let's start with makeup. Yeah, let's start with makeup. I think
Makeup's very widespread. Almost, I guess you've got the whole range. Online, you'll see people who are they cannot go outside. They regard it as their face.
Yeah.
They cannot set foot outdoors and be seen by anybody unless they have their face on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a problem.
And that's a saying that girls will like throw around, like, "Oh, let me put my face on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they can't. Yeah. And that to me is sad.
Right.
And I would put that in the category of vanity.
Right.
Is that you don't think that you are fit to be seen just as God made you.
Right. Yeah, and so I think I think what we're going to keep saying over and over again is that it does come down to where's your heart? Where's your heart in this? Because if you are using, and this is the same thing with like drinking, okay? I'm a big everybody who knows me personally knows I'll take a drink.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll take a drink.
I'll take a drink. I'll take a drink.
I don't want to be rude.
I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to be impolite. All right, now I'll do a little toot.
I'll stay away from that.
But I say, wait, I will not freebase cocaine. But I'll take a drink, and I will smoke a little reefer. With alcohol, okay, I think that there's a time and place that it's awesome and that it helps the flow of conversation. There's an amazing
there's a celebratory aspect to it.
Yeah, there's an amazing speech given by some politician somewhere. I don't remember who it was, but I just came across it recently. And he's talking about, he's talking about prohibition. He's saying, are you asking me if I am against whiskey? If you were talking about the despoiler of families, the destroyer of men, the thing that makes a happy man angry and beats his wife, whatever, blah, blah. If you're talking about the thing that ruins a child's life, the thing that destroys the home, the thing that tears at civilization's fabric, then yes, I am against whiskey. But if you are asking me about the thing that makes the priest smile, about the beautiful thing that lubricates the flow of conversation, that brings joy to a man's lips, that hastens the dancing feet of the party, that like all this, then I am absolutely not against whiskey. And like,
wow, that's a really good speech.
Yeah, and
got tingles from that.
Yeah, it's
just being reenacted. Wow.
Yeah, it is an amazing speech, and I think makeup is the same way. If what you were talking about is this thing used to hide, if what you were talking about is this thing used to alter your appearance because you are fundamentally in a disagreement with the way that you currently look, if that's what you're talking about, then makeup is a no-go. If you're a woman and you feel anxious going out into public, going to church, going to a party, going to the bar, whatever, without makeup on, that is a problem. That's an issue you have to address.
Yeah,
I think
anxiety is a sin.
Anxiety is a sin.
It's worrying about tomorrow. It's worrying about things that you have no business worrying about.
Yeah, and
you can be concerned with things, but you cannot worry. You cannot. God does not want you to be anxious.
Right. Yeah, and I think that the tastefulness, I think, in all things is like a really good measure of somebody being balanced. And so if we've talked about, guys that look cool, that have nice families, that have beautiful wives and well-behaved kids and drive a cool truck and have a nice house, how those things can be positively influential on young men. If you're an older woman or a youngish woman, if you're in your early 30s, late 30s, and you want to have a positive influence on young women, if you come in and you have tastefully done makeup, you don't have your face isn't painted on. It's just like, I was up late last night, I put a little concealer on my to hide my bags,
highlights,
so I don't look haggard.
Yeah,
that will young women will see you and go, what a delightful, beautiful woman. I'm 19, I'm 16, I want to be like her. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's fine. But if you are doing something, if you're drinking because you can't stand your own feelings, that's a problem. If you are putting on makeup because you can't stand the way you look, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And you need to address the problem. That's what you need to address.
Not continuing covering up.
Not continuing covering it up. Exactly.
Covergirl.
I think...
Call us Covergirl.
Call us Cover, yeah. Hey, we should. Yeah, we'll call it Covergirl. That's a great one. I think for me, when I'm trying to work through trying to figure out where the line is on something, I like to start at the most extreme thing and be like, well, that's obviously wrong. So let's work back from that.
Yeah.
So to me, in this debate, in this kind of discussion, the thing that everyone can agree on, or everyone that'll listen to this at least will agree on, that is obviously wrong is the trans thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If you are altering your body and your appearance so much that you are attempting to impersonate a member of the opposite sex, we are obviously in the realm of sin. There's no way you can color that as not sinful. You are
correct. You are rejecting openly and aggressively the way God made you.
A fundamental aspect of how God made you.
Right.
And so I think we can work backwards from that, because at least in the context of men, there's all kinds of, there's the makeup thing, the clothes thing, the surgery thing, all of that is found in the trans thing. So we can work back from that. So coming back off the trans thing, where does it become appropriate for, where do appearances and vanity, where does that drop off and you get into the world of diligence and elegance and, what was the word I used? To display balance in yourself.
To display balance?
Yeah, when you tastefulness.
Tastefulness.
Yes. Yeah. When do we leave the grotesque and enter into the tasteful? Working back from the trans thing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a great way, if you're a balanced person, if you're ordered in the right direction, I think whether or not you feel a sense of uncanny valley is a great way to tell if this person is in the grotesque or in the tasteful.
Okay.
So if you are a well-ordered person, because I do think that for whatever reason God does decide to order some non-Christians correctly. For whatever reason, it does seem like that they're ordered somewhat correctly.
Right. There's general grace.
Yeah. Common grace.
Common grace. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's not as if non-Christians can never stumble upon truth, because it is inherent in the world and the way that we're made.
Right. So if you're a well-ordered person, things that are grotesque will appear grotesque to you, and so you don't have to be you don't have to be looking at a tranny, at a troon, to feel a sense of uncanny valley or to go, oh, that's grotesque. You can back off even to people that get dramatic plastic surgery. I think the Lord has made it quite clear what the consequences of that will be. You will wear an insane gargoyle mask on your face for the rest of your life. You'll look insane. People who get the lip fillers, they have two big balloons on their lip. Yeah, and the eyes, they're like this.
Stretched back.
Yeah.
As demonstrated with the ponytail.
Yeah, as demonstrated with the ponytail. HR ladies often look like this. But that's a spiritual thing. Usually they end up looking like that because their souls are so bleak or so grotesque. Obviously, copious amounts of plastic surgery are wrong. But let's talk about plastic surgery. Let's say there's a gentleman I've seen on Instagram a couple times who I think he got in some kind of car accident.
Okay.
And there was no fire involved or whatever, but his face was completely destroyed.
Yikes.
And so they, like all the muscles in his face were torn up. He looked insane. Like there's pictures of what he looked like before, and he looked crazy. He looked awful. He looked terrifying. I don't know this guy. All right. I don't know what he's like. I don't know if he's a terrible person or not. It doesn't seem like on its face most people deserve to have that thrust upon them.
Depends on what you mean by deserve, but yeah.
Sure. Yes. I think it's fine to feel sympathy for
Sure, it's a tragedy.
a burn victim.
It's a tragedy.
If a person like that, who has had something like that happen to them, this guy got a face transplant.
It's more like reconstructive
Yeah,
surgery.
he got someone else's face put on his face, literally.
Oh, okay. He got an entirely new one. Then.
Yeah. Now, it still looks crazy, all right? But it looks way better
Yeah.
than what he looked like before. He looked like Jigsaw from the first Punisher, the Punisher movie, not the first one, but the second one. The second Punisher movie from like the early 2000s.
Yeah. You look like an overripe avocado.
Well, now he looks like an overripe avocado. Before, he looked like a rotting avocado.
Yeah.
That's obviously a pretty extreme plastic surgery endeavor.
Yes. So it's extensive plastic surgery, but it's, yeah, I guess not knowing his heart, but you could definitely say, I just want to be able to go out in public without being stared at continually.
Yeah, or having kids cry when they see me.
Yeah.
You know, I can at least, if I just put a hat
It's
on.
an extreme circumstance.
Yeah. But I think it's a good, that like we can point at that and everybody can go, all right, we can say that guy is at least, this is probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably not just vanity like I want to look better.
Right.
It's like I just want to look somewhat normal.
Yeah.
Closer to normal.
Now, if you're a 23-year-old girl and you think your lips are too thin,
Mm-hmm.
and so you spend $300 at the esthetician getting plastic injected into your lips, maybe, instead of getting plastic injected into your lips, you should delete your Instagram account.
Definitely a good move. I'd go with that.
Maybe.
Option B.
Okay? Just think about it. All right? Just consider for another thing, I think is a great way to tell, is this okay or is this not okay, is what consequences has the Lord assigned to this behavior? If you get filler put in your face, that filler moves over time. It migrates in your face randomly.
Good deal.
So I want my cheeks to be higher. I want to get my buccal fat removed or whatever it's called, the cheek fat in my body removed. I want to get lip filler. Over time, over the course of 5 or 10 years, I don't even think it's that much time. This is despicable. The people selling these lip fillers and stuff told everyone that it just dissolves. So you come in and get new lip filler.
Oh, okay.
We found out that it doesn't dissolve.
It just migrates.
It just migrates in your face.
Oh, no.
So eventually you get these pits and hills and you start to look like a freak. All right?
Oh, my goodness.
Now, if the result of what you're doing is an immediate beautification, all right? Listen, fuller lips look nice, all right?
Sure.
It was a big part of the reason why I liked my wife's face so much. She's nice, full lips. I get it. All
Sure.
right?
Desirable.
Now, if the result of what you're doing in the short term is the beautification, it does look better. But the long-term results are that you look like a freak. It's probably a problem, okay? God has clearly said the consequences for this are going to be negative. Now, if the consequences for what you're doing are positive, morally good, not I have more money. If the consequences are morally good, in the long term, it's probably fine. All right. Now, listen, Scripture's the backstop here. We need to refer to that, and I will ultimately make that argument. But getting filler, looking like a freak later on the line, so that your 20s can be nice. This is bad. All right. And also, you look dumb. You look retarded. Like people are like, everyone now knows in 10 years you're going to look like a freak. So you've decided to trade living the back 3/4 of your life looking like a freak in order to look good for the next 5.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that's low IQ behavior. You can't see the future. Like that's
one marshmallow kid behavior.
Yes, that is one marshmallow kid behavior. Yes.
Give it to me now.
Yes, give it to me now. Take all my beauty that I'm going to have in the future, rip it all from the future,
and just pack it into
the next 5 years, so I can have lots of sex.
Yeah.
So, backing up further. Now, I think this is where Jason, the conversation is going to get interesting. Okay. I think Jason and I are going to start to disagree. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do this one first.
All right.
So this is one that actually made me angry. This is like a couple years ago, year ago maybe. It was a long time ago that this happened.
Okay.
A professional tennis player, a female professional tennis player, had boobs that were too big. They were physically stopping her from being able to rotate.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay? So she reduced the size of her breasts
Okay.
in order to...
That made you angry?
No.
Okay.
Although that is a tragedy.
How dare she?
That is a tragedy. Why would you take a nice big pair of boobs away from a gentleman? Whatever gentleman has access to those, God bless him. Why take them from him? Quit playing tennis.
He's a little less blessed now.
Yeah, he's a little less blessed. Come on, lady.
Hashtag less blessed.
Yeah, hashtag less blessed. Yeah. But what made me mad was, especially like the Ogden guys, the like more right wing version of the Moscow crew, were like, this is if you. This is one of the things I despise. Positioning things as if you're like not a good Christian because you don't hold this incredibly niche position that most people don't even care about. If you their stance was, if you don't see this as the exact same level of sin, the exact same thing as child mutilation in transitioning children, are you regenerate? I don't know.
That's between you and God.
That's between you and God, but I'll question it right here in public and pretend that I'm not. Listen, you can have all kinds of discussion. You can have all kinds of discussion about whether or not that girl should be playing tennis professionally. Okay? I'm open to that. All right?
And whether or not altering your body surgically to do it better.
To do it better is worth it. We can have that discussion. Here's the discussion I'd like to have. If that woman was a mother and her ability to take care of her children, bend over at the waist to get things out of the oven, pick up her kids, hold them on her hip, was being compromised because she was having severe back pain because her bust was too large, and she got it surgically reduced so that she could perform her duties as a mother better, would you be having that same reaction? Would you even think about it?
I've never thought about that.
It's a good question.
It's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question.
I don't know.
I knew a young lady when I was younger who had that problem.
Yeah.
She was in pain pretty consistently. Pain. Upper back pain.
Yeah.
Because her breasts were so large that it was disproportionately pulling on her back. She's in pain. All right. And she did all kinds of stuff. She was a yoga instructor. All right. This is a very fit woman. Okay. This is so the argument that she could go to the gym and get a stronger core or whatever. She could spend 6 hours a week for the rest of her life maintaining a strong body so that even when she turns 50 and that fails, she's in pain still, whatever. Okay. She was fit. Okay. She was in shape. She was extremely fit.
So we're talking more about a practical surgery.
Right.
As opposed, so I think that takes it out of the realm of vanity.
Well,
clearly out of the realm of vanity because it's not
because these guys they're not acting like that.
Well, you can probably disregard some fringe idiot opinions.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Let's say they're fringe idiots.
Yeah, I.
But they were criticizing it because she wanted to play tennis.
She's criticizing because she wanted to do her job. They were criticizing because she wanted to do her job.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. But that's the thing is that if it wasn't an attack fundamentally on the breast reduction, and it was like I said, if it was an attack on the fact that she was doing it to play tennis, then let's talk about it. Sounds great. If we're doing it to fundamentally attack the idea of surgically altering yourself, what are we doing? All right. Like, how is this? That's what I'm saying. Is if we recontextualize what we were talking about here, you wouldn't even think about it. You wouldn't even think about it so much so that you're not even aware of the women around you who have gotten that done.
Right. Well, if it wasn't breasts and you had some other surgery done to reduce fat somewhere else for health reasons, would we be talking about it?
Right. And then it goes like where does the gym like
those risky, some people who are obese and get reductions and like what is it, the stomach thing, the bands
bypass
and
or
whatnot,
whatever. Yeah,
bypasses or have part of their stomach cut out and banded and whatnot.
yeah,
That sort of thing.
yeah. And listen,
Extreme and risky, from what I've heard.
yeah, I think there's way better ways. I mean, you can just get on Ozempic, I think, these days. And
Okay. My point is that if you're doing it for health reasons,
yeah,
like the back pain
Right.
girl that you were talking
The back
about,
pain,
that's a
there's-
different category than vanity.
yeah,
Like, if her goal is more to do it because she wants to look more proportionate, if she's not bothered by the back
Yeah,
pain,
yes.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
breast
yeah.
reduction is not the issue. The issue is, why are you doing it?
right, exactly. And I think again, I think that's going to be where we're going to keep coming back to here.
Is it-
why are you doing?
Where's your heart at?
Right. Yeah.
If you go, I am not as attractive because I have oversized breasts for my figure.
Which is probably not. That's probably in your head. I bet there's at least a dozen men who would disagree with you. So you're probably fine. You're probably just wrong.
If it's not big enough to cause back problems, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
It's probably vanity.
It's probably vanity. Yeah, yeah. As long as
There
you
you
don't
go.
look as some like extreme pervert's anime fantasy, you're probably fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And even then, you have an extreme pervert who you can appeal to with your giant
Exactly.
breasts.
Make him very happy.
Yeah,
Finally, some woman who falls forward all the time if she's not careful to lean back.
yeah, yeah. So
Walking around like
yeah,
this.
some woman who needs a wheelbarrow.
You have to pull her around in a rickshaw.
Yeah. There's also one of the things I'll say is that like actually, you know what, this isn't niche. This is not niche, okay? Because you can look up the statistics around sexual abuse. They're astounding and devastating and very upsetting. If you talk to any medical health professional, they'll tell you like half of all of their clients have been molested. It's extremely prevalent, very bad. All right. One of the things that you can be absolutely sure of if you were to take, this is going to be kind of vulgar, I'm sorry. If you had a young woman who's like 15, 14, whatever, and you were to assault her sexually, there's a pretty good chance she's going to gain a lot of weight afterwards. Okay. If you take a child, do the same thing to them, there's a pretty good chance that kid's going to deal with weight issues the rest of their life. All right. Now, that is something that they had no control over. They are a victim in that situation. All right. And we're talking about, I'm not saying, I know this is hyperbolic, but like potentially half the population. All right. Not a niche issue. At least 10%, 15.
Gotcha.
Let's say that realistically, 15% of the population who's fat, or just 15% of the population in general. The fact that they're morbidly obese or obese in general may have to do with something that
Psychological.
happened to them.
Yeah.
If they exist for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years as fat, they have an epigenetic change in their body that will render them almost physically unable to lose that weight and keep it off. So even if they go get treatment for that trauma, they do brain spotting or EMDR or whatever, and they resolve those issues and cure themselves of the cancer that has been introduced into their soul via rape, they still are going to deal with the physical ramifications that come from that kind of stuff. In those instances, things like Ozempic, these peptide treatments that they've come out with, other surgical interventions, these things can, the banding and bypass, that kind of stuff, I don't think that works. But like Ozempic, like if you go on Ozempic and stay on Ozempic for 10 years,
Yeah.
you keep yourself skinny for 10 years, you like microdose it or whatever. I'm not going to get into the health things around that.
This is not
Yeah.
medical advice.
But you can rejigger your epigenetic coding.
Okay.
So if you're obese and you struggle with obesity, you can rejigger your epigenetic coding by staying skinny for a number of years.
Right, I think you can inherit those genes too, I believe.
Yes.
Genes that are turned on.
Right.
Like, I think I've heard that people who are historically underfed, if your ancestors or your recent ancestors were underfed, if they were in like kind of starving conditions, then their body is turned on to store as much calories as possible. Then once you have enough food down the line, struggle more with obesity because your body is just we got to store all the nutrients we can because we're in starvation mode.
Right. Right.
It's been a long time since I've heard that stat.
So,
that may be wrong, but
I mean, you can even extrapolate that out to people who are not necessarily victims of sexual assault, just people who are victims of the current food standards in the world, right? They don't, when you're 8, you're not thinking about the fact that seed oils are in the Haagen-Dazs you're eating.
Yeah.
You're just thinking about the fact that it's Haagen-Dazs. Your parents don't know. It's 2002.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Everybody thinks it's fine. Okay, you get fat, and now epigenetically you're fat. You're gonna have to have some kind of medical intervention to undo your. Look at me, all right. I know. Okay. So even then, but that doesn't negate what we've said, which is, where's your heart at?
Yeah.
All right. Now, because again, being fat, it's going to kill you. So you have to not.
Yeah, it's very bad for you.
Yeah, it's very bad for you.
It puts a strain on every organ in your body.
Yeah. Again, I know personally. Look at me. Here's the all right. Let's do it. We'll do the part. We'll do the fun. We'll go to the fun stuff. All right. So here's one that Jason and I disagree on. Women have children. Okay, we all know that. That's part of what women do. When they do that, their bodies change a lot. Their breasts fill with milk. It expands the tissue there. When the milk leaves, that tissue doesn't really go back. It just sags. I don't know. My wife, I'm blessed. So I know what happens when, whatever. I won't go into detail there, but so with a woman with a smaller bust, I don't know what happens to them. I don't know, but I know what happens to a woman with a large bust. I am absolutely going to pay to have those bad boys returned.
Reconfigured?
Just returned to their pre-baby state. Because, man, were they excellent. They're still excellent now. Love you. Great. Beautiful. But listen, I drive a 20-year-old, 25-year-old car. All right? You put some miles on that bad boy, I'm going to have to get it restored. Okay? I don't want to go get a new car. I love that car. That's the car I want. I want that car. That's the truck I want. I don't want any other truck. I don't want to go out and buy another one that's in mint condition, whatever. It's that truck. It's beautiful. It's the right color. It makes a perfect noise. It's my baby. I want that one. So when it's time to have it restored, when it's time to either get rid of it and get a new car because this one doesn't work anymore or whatever, that's not happening. We're restoring it. We're bringing it back. Okay?
You're not divorced and marrying a 22-year-old?
I'm not divorcing and marrying a 22-year-old excursion. I'm restoring the old one. All right. Now, my wife is indifferent about this. Okay. She's kind of like, yeah, I mean, whatever. For you, yeah, I'll do it. But I don't really care. All right. That's great. I think that's a great place to take it. All right. I don't think it is sinful as a husband if you have the resources. Now, if you're getting a loan or something to get your
going
wife
into debt.
Yeah. If you're getting a loan, if you're getting like breast implants or whatever, like, that's,
yeah. I think that's much more clearly in the vanity side. If you're like not happy with the size,
yeah.
So we're going to up it.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to grow these puppies. Let's get, yeah. Let's feed them. That's not. I don't think that's. I think that you're starting to get over the line there. But I think if you're a husband and you're like, man, when you were 24 before we started having kids, were those puppies glorious? And it cost me $5,000 to have that glory returned, and that's it. And I have the $5,000. What else am I going to spend it on? Like, it's just why. Let's have more sex. Like let's do it. Like why? Like I lost my job. A big part of the reason why with all that spare time, a lot of spare time, I've gotten really disciplined about getting back in the gym, and I've lost a ton of weight. And after COVID, I was the fattest I ever was by a lot. I was like 330 pounds. I was ultra fat. All right. Since COVID, I've lost 50 pounds. Since in the last month, I think I've lost like almost another 20, something like it feels like that. and all my muscles are back and whatever. A huge part of why I come home from the gym and I make my wife come into the bathroom with me so I can take my shirt off and she can see my arms. All right. And she said, I was holding my daughter like a little baby. She was after her shower. She likes to get in a towel and pretend to be a baby, like a swaddled baby. And so I was sitting on the couch going, oh, it's just a little tiny baby in her swaddle. And I looked up at my wife and my beard is shaved. And now I'm thin enough that if I like even a little bit, pull my head up, and you're looking down on me from even a little bit, my old face that existed before I got fat returns for a moment. And so I looked up at her and I saw like she got like flush and was like, she was like, by the time Marigold, I'm like recovered from having Marigold, I'm going to be pregnant again. And I was like, hey, a huge part of the reason why I've been so disciplined about that is because I can't be fat for my wife. It is a part of your marriage to want to be attracted to each other physically, and you can't force that. You cannot force that. You cannot force yourself to like something that you don't like looking at. And so it sounds maybe harsh and whatever to acknowledge, but it's just acknowledging that people do age. Things start to sag, you get old, you get a little fatter, whatever. And if it's possible to make minor changes that are relatively cheap to you or whatever, in order to continue to enjoy your spouse's body as you should for a little bit longer. Are we talking about sin here? Is that what we're talking about?
Are you taking that reasoning? I think I see what you're saying. But age is going to take its toll no matter what.
Yeah.
I could see that logic being applied way on down the road and gradually moving the goalpost to saying, well, we'll do a little bit more work here, we'll do a little bit more here, as opposed to just I'm going to eat healthy and exercise and stay as fit as I can.
Yeah.
And take care of myself, which was the original part that we talked about. Where is the line between taking care of yourself and vanity?
Yeah.
And so again, maybe it lands in this heart issue area.
I think one of the things that we can, I think you're right. I think you are right.
I think that reasoning could easily slip into.
Yeah.
Well, also this.
Yeah.
Well, we already did a little bit here.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you spent $50,000 on spent your kids' college tuition on keeping your wife
looking kind of 35. Yeah, kind of 35.
Yeah, kind of 35. Yeah, still all wrinkly, but it's tight in a weird way. Yeah.
Just a little Botox, just a little.
Yeah, a little bit there, a little bit. I think that's definitely a threat, and I think one of the things that we can reference is like boomers. Okay. And their health, their overall health. All right. One of the things that I think people start to get sick about when they see boomers is that boomers will turn 80 and their nest egg, the thing that the sum total of the whatever they've put back from their life that they should go to their kids, they start frantically spending on healthcare to buy themselves 1, 2, 4, 5 years of miserable life. And so that they're in these like situations where they're paying for medication and all kinds of, and they're pooping their pants and like they're just miserable, but just keep me alive, I think that's the same thing, but it's just an earlier version of that. So if you get to this place where you're frantically, anxiously battling against the ticking of time, brother, you're taking it too far. If your wife is 35 and her boobs are sagged because she's pregnant and one of the things that I think would make me uncomfortable is if, not uncomfortable, but it's one of those things where it might be a red flag. It might be just one of those things where let's take a beat. Let's kind of whatever, is if the wife is like, my boobs are saggy and I want them to look whatever. And the husband's like, I don't care. They look great to me.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can go, all right, well, let's take a pause here. Why are we doing this? What's going on? Is this let's pray about this. Let's maybe get, let's get an older woman involved and ask her and a faithful older woman that we know from the church and ask her opinion and what does she think, and consult some scripture, and let's be grounded in this. Maybe it's not a bad decision, but let's pause, which I think is something you should just do in general anyways with all your decisions.
Absolutely.
But maybe a little bit more apprehension. You're gonna put a little bit more peanut butter on that side of the bread if the wife is like, hey, let's, I want this. If it's like, for our example, from the moment we got married, from the moment, like, I was like, when we start having it, when you get done having kids, you're getting a boob job to get them picked back up. And she was like, okay, like, didn't bother. She didn't really think about it, whatever. And even now, she's like, she'll ask me, she'll be like, after Abigail was born, she's like, are they look okay? And genuinely, I'm like, yeah, they look great. They look awesome. But it's my idea. It is me being a little selfish, you know what I mean? But it's not vanity on her part. She didn't care either way.
Well, I mean, does that not make it vanity on your part, though?
Again, I think it would if she was 45.
Okay.
And I was like,
you've got to have 22-year-old boobs.
I need you to call the, whoever we got doing this, the last three surgeries.
I can't even with these.
Yeah, with the last three surgeries, your stomach's getting a little, let's get that if that's where I'm at, yes. But I think when you're
talking about still relatively young.
Yeah, relatively young. You are putting a very small amount of input for a little change that's buying you 10 more years of whatever, right? And it's like, that I would make the exact same type of argument like with drinking. If I was sitting there, if I hadn't drank in a month, like next weekend at the pool party, right? I haven't had a drop at that point, it'll be almost 2 months. If somebody were to come to me and be like, dude, you've kind of had a couple, I'd be like, first of all, no, I haven't. You think I've had a couple because you don't understand. But secondly, we're not compromising our sobriety here in a broader sense. Mm-hmm. This has been planned. We've known about this.
Yeah.
Arrangements have been made.
I'm not drinking out of frustration or anxiety.
Yeah, we're celebrating our existence, this creation of God, that the sun is out.
Yeah. And our blessings.
There's all these blessings are here, and we are enjoying. I'm literally with my church family. Like, this is literally what alcohol was imparted on us to do. Chill out. Like, I think I would make that exact same argument of like, dude, it is such a little amount of input for such a great return that and there are there's no immediate physical consequences. There's no long-term physical consequences. There's nothing that indicates to me that the Lord that sees this as being sinful.
Okay.
There's nothing there. I don't see it. Maybe, again, we're having this discussion in a public forum. Maybe somebody has some sort of very reasonable thought out.
Yeah. Shoot us an email.
Yeah.
workhard@hyperpremium.co.
Yeah. But I think, so I think, what time are we at?
1:07.
Okay. Well, so wrap it up. Where's the line between vanity and
just taking care of yourself?
And just taking care of yourself. Just taking care of yourself. Vanity and what is the line between the grotesque and the tasteful? What is the line between sinful and not sinful? That's the question. What is the line between sinful and not sinful?
And I will say it might, because it's such a gray area and because it's such a hard issue, that there may be I should say, I think there are definitely some areas that are in the gray that are sinful for one person because it would be for vanity, whereas it's practical or just culturally taking care of myself for another person.
Right. So, I mean, let's talk.
Wearing the 3-piece suit is just fitting into the society you are in and not being a distraction.
Right. In
one instance, and it would be showing off to another person.
Right.
And for vanity's sake, it's like wearing a giant gold chain.
Right. Yeah. And so this is Paul's thing. You have to work out your salvation with fear and trembling.
Yeah. So
you have to be honest with yourself.
Yep.
Very honest with yourself. And pray. You have to pray your way through these decisions.
Ask God to show you his will. Say, Lord, give me a real bad feeling about this.
Yeah, or just make it impossible.
My conscience. Well, or just I would say convict my conscience if this is something I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Give me guilt over this while I'm doing it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you just, where is it? Here's the answer. You know where it is. You know damn well where the line is for you. If you are being sincere and honest with yourself, you know exactly where the line is. If you are a rightly ordered person, if you're a believer, the Lord has already told you where the line is. You know where it is. But please pray, seek guidance, seek the wisdom of people who are older than you. If you want to make some change to your appearance, you want to dye your hair or whatever, something like that, whatever. Just pray, all right? You know where the line is.
I think we're very good at, I would counter that a little bit. I think we're very good at deceiving ourselves. So we might not know where the line is we might not know our own heart. The heart is deceptive and evil, and so we might be tricked into thinking that we're doing this for
fair enough,
for a good.
So
I
just
guess,
pray.
Yeah,
pray
that your heart would be rightly ordered. I know you clarify. I know you said if you're rightly ordered,
right?
But I want to emphasize that if
you
might not be,
you might be in
certainly
general,
are not.
You might be in general and not on this issue,
right?
It's another.
This is a blind spot for you.
Yeah.
As you go through your Christian life and you see the defeat of certain sins in your life, other ones will pop up that you've been doing the whole time and didn't really register. It didn't pop up on your radar. You're like, looks all clear. Hey, Lord, show me my sin. And it's like, boop, 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 boop. You're like, oh, crap, I'm surrounded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tangos out there.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just, especially when you get into the world of permanently altering yourself in some way.
The unreversible.
Take a year. Take 2 years of prayer and seeking
Don't do the impulse buy on that.
Yeah, brother, please. Yeah, dude, come on. Yeah.
Don't buy that in the checkout line.
Yeah. Just be.
When you see boob job in the checkout line, go, I'm going to wait.
I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to come back 2 years. If I still go, after all this prayer and all this time, and I still go, good idea. We'll get the boob job. But, just, you got to be.
You got to be sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, we love you.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Thank you in advance, or thank you in the past if you've already liked or subscribed. We appreciate it. Share this podcast with others. Like we talked about earlier, we've got a lot of stuff planned. It's going to be a busy next 6 to 12 months.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to see some other stuff from us besides just us two talking people.
Yep. It's coming.
We're praying for you. We love you.
Please find a wife. Take her to church.
And have some babies.
Goodbye.